everyone. Welcome to our session on self-employment. I'm so excited that we're here today. My name is Hadiya Nurridin, and I'm going to be moderating the panel today. I am self-employed myself and been on that journey for about 11 years now. I have a lot to say about it, but luckily you don't have to just hear from me. There are three other people who are going to share their journeys as well. So I'm just going to introduce them, and then they're going to go and give us a little bit about themselves. So we have DeAndra Brown who's here, we have Monica Lee, and we have Joni Easterling. So why don't we start with you, DeAndra? Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you're doing now?
Yeah, my name is DeAndra Brown. I'm currently the CEO of Global Wheelhouse. We are a social impact staffing agency. And then I'm also the global director for a really amazing it's called Fierce Staffing Services, which is a Detroit-based fiercing agency that specializes in hiring for the hospitality and events industry. So I'm also a mom, ex-basketball player. I do it all. I believe that girls can do anything. And that's who I am.
Are you from Detroit?
I'm not from Detroit. I was actually born in California, but really raised in the Midwest. I went to college, played basketball in the Midwest, but I lived in Florida for 7 years, but before moving to Tennessee. So I'm a product of
all over the place. All right, wonderful. But Detroit, I'm from Detroit originally. I'm in Chicago now, so
nice.
That's a good stop. Good stop.
Right.
All right. How about you, Monica?
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I'm following instructions here. So my name is Monica Lee. I'm a Black woman, long hair, early 40s, wearing glasses with a white shirt that has a high collar. Okay, so that's my description. Good morning, everybody. My name is Monica Lee, President and CEO of C3 Tech. We're going into our third year of business, which I think is an important point to just clarify and mention, so everybody who's interested in this journey has people at different levels and different phases of this experience. So I'm full-time self-employed. We're a small government consulting firm. I'm a Chicago native, but a transplant, right? So I'm in the DMV area, and the business is a Maryland-based business. We provide a health IT focused government and project and program management consulting services to the government. So, and at different levels, right? So the state as well as the federal. Most of my clients entail agencies under DOD, Defense Health, Military Health System, CMS, Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, as well as some other small businesses that have partnered with me to help promote my growth, right? So that's me in a nutshell. I'm also a mom, right? I've got a 7, a 9, and a 20-year-old stepson. And I'm a twin. So if you ever see somebody who looks just like me, her name is Veronica, although my mom wanted to name us Matilda and Hilda, which I'm so glad she did not do. There's nothing really sexy about Hilly. Okay, so that's
great
who I am.
Television show name, though. All right. All right, thank you. And how about you, Joni?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Joni Easterling, so I'm going to follow directions as well. So I am a Black woman. I have in my early 40s. I have short curly hair. I'm wearing a blue top, and I have on glasses and red lipstick, but of course. But yes, I am owner of Everyday Conversation. So I just recently started this business this year. So I am new in my self-employment journey, and it is a business dedicated to supporting and providing resources for those on their career journey. So everything from seminars on emotional intelligence, networking, just all things career, professional, and personal development. I am also a mother of 2 girls, so they're 16 and 12. So you can imagine they keep me busy. They are athletes, so we're always on the go. And a husband of 17 years. So yeah, we're very busy over here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so let's get started. So again, my name is Hadiya Nurridin. I am from Detroit. I've been in Chicago for about 25 years or so. I have been in learning and development for over 20 years now. Half of that spent internally, going from organization to organization, and then the other half spent self-employed. I figured that now we both know I'm leaving in 6 months, as opposed to before, when they didn't know I was going to leave in 6 months. So I figured, I think what I want to do is be on my own. And so that's what I did. The name of my company is Duets Learning. And that company name has evolved over time. And there's many, many things that we do. I do primarily instructional design and e-learning development, as well as speaking. I'm the author of a book called Story Training, and focus a lot on storytelling, both as a design mechanism as well as a way to present and connect with people. As well, I'm writing another book now on quality management and learning development, a very different topic, but to me, it's all still a story. So I want to describe myself. I'm a Black woman with short natural hair. I have on a seafoam green top, and I'm wearing glasses. Okay, so I have a couple of questions for all of you today, and a lot of them focuses on self-care. And that's one thing I like about it, because one of the questions I'm going to ask you in the end that I want you to be thinking about is how this journey has affected you as a person. There's a lot of information you can get out there about how you should set up your business, and should you get an LLC, should you be a sole proprietor, should you be, what software should you use? There's a lot of information about there. But what I didn't know was the toll that it takes on you in sort of reshaping your perspective of how you work and how you live. This is not a job change, it's a lifestyle change. And even if you're not doing it completely full time, it's still an incredible lifestyle change. That one of those moments of time, I think, like having children, like getting there, where you have to really question your values, and they really are bring into focus what your values are and what's important to you in ways that may not have happened before. What do I really want? And how am I going to get there? And there's no managers like, you want to be like me. None of that's happening. You are it, and you are determining all of that. So how you have evolved as a person, and who you are, and where your focus is, I think that's an important question. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I do want to ask first, though, what compelled you to do this? What compelled you to step out on faith in a way like that, where you're going to say, these are my services, this is what I'm going to offer, and this is what I'm going to be? Why did you start that journey? Let's start with you, Monica.
Okay. Oh, so you said a mouthful, right? And I was sitting here marinating in it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, she's covering a lot with just this, short summation of what we're venturing off into. Let me tell you what propelled me to start. So when I was in college, I had this little man on my shoulder, right? And I felt like something was telling me to start my own business, but I had no passion and I had no conviction. Okay. So I've always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to start my own business, but I knew it would have to be something that I would be willing to get up early in the morning for and go to bed really, really late at night. Because as you mentioned, there is no oversight. It is you. It is only you. And I think there was a series of life events that really kind of directed me to this path, but specifically, I had about 15 years of experience working within government consulting, and I had clients who would say, hey, you're really good at this. You should do this on your own. You're really great at this. You should do this. And I think if you start to hear that consistently, that's a part of the validation. I'm not saying that you need that, right? But it's nice to have that because other people believe in you. right? Because those same people that said, hey, you should do this, when I said, hey, I'm doing this, they said, okay, let me see how I can help. And within the first 30 days of me starting the LLC, I had 3 pieces of business, right? Which for new businesses, getting the business is one of the most challenging, obstacles that you'll have. And then sustaining the business and then growing, right? So I feel like,
all at the same time.
when you said lifestyle change, I mean, huge, okay. The first year I was in the ER twice. Let's just be real. I was in the ER twice because those 3 pieces of business, while I was grateful for it, and I more than doubled the income that I had made working for anybody else, I was doing all of the work. So I did land myself in the ER. It was the first time I experienced kidney stones. It was the first time I was dehydrated. I mean, the list goes on. But it gives you some insight into the sacrifices, right, that you're going to have to make, maybe sometimes on the front end to get to where you're going. So I hope that starts off the conversation.
Yeah. One thing I learned is that you can throw your back out by sitting too much. Like I didn't realize that. You're sitting too much, you can throw your back out. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But I guess if you're sitting nonstop because you're working nonstop, that can make a difference. How about you, DeAndra? What started you on this road?
Yeah, that's a really, really great question. My road to getting here is pretty unconventional, but it's my truth. And if you know me, you know I bear my truth. I'm a truly transparent person. So it was after my 5th corporate layoff, I decided to stop being the best.
That'll do it.
And start to become the CEO that I was destined to be. Similar to you, Monica, I was on TikTok after my 5th layoff. And I was like, you know what? I'm not a social media person at all. I don't claim to be, but I'm going to get on here and I'm going to share my story because somebody else is going through exactly what I'm going through right now. And so if nothing else, I'll have a community. I'll have some folks to say, hey, I know where you're at, but hey, here's a resource. That's what I was looking for. So I got on TikTok and I said, listen, I've been laid off from my 5th corporate executive recruiter job. And I'm going to share with you who I am. I'm a connector. This is who I am. I've overcome IVF. I love to help people. And I just poured my soul out. That one video, I went from 99 followers to over 17,000 followers in 2 weeks. That one video had over 190,000 views and endless comments from people saying, start your own. You need to start your own thing, start your own thing. And I was like, okay, accountability, right? So I said, all right, I'm going to start documenting my journey on TikTok. And since then, I've done that. From that one video, we also have gotten over 250 qualified candidates in our talent pool. And these are folks that are reaching out to us, to Global Wheelhouse, for support, finding jobs in being a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, it ranges, social developers. I mean, we help so many people. And so how I got started on here was just me being honest and saying, hey, this is where I'm at in life. Anybody else experiencing this? Well, how are we going to get through this together? And really, so I'm grateful to be here, but I'm also grateful for all of those 5 layoffs because I actually members of my team through all of those layoffs as well. So God is a master strategist and be in the plan.
Yeah, that is a great commercial for what I do, storytelling.
Yeah.
Telling those stories, expressing that vulnerability, having people connect to you goes a long, long way at just helping you build your business, helping people trust you. That's what they're doing, and trusting you. And that story, that they can feel an affinity with you.
Yeah.
They feel seen. That makes that connection. Yeah, great. Okay, how about you, Joni?
Well, I am over here in the amen corner. I am so into this. I'm almost forgetting that I'm a part of the panel. I'm like, yes, I'm saying yes to everything. But yeah, so thinking about how I started and why I started, I still have a day job. So I've been in corporate for almost 20 years. And I would say probably over the last, 10 to 12 years, I've really focused on building my brand. Right. I've always wanted to speak in front of people. I always wanted to be just like Oprah. Right. That was my dream. growing up. And so I got into the learning organization and I started training, and then I started to spread my wings a little bit and do additional things with our business resource groups, but really becoming known for being a facilitator, a learning expert, a micro learning video editor, and all of those things. And in the back of my mind, I always thought like, well, eventually I'll go ahead and do something on my own. I'll start my own business. I'll create my own thing. And then I think it was just at the beginning of, towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And I'm like, you know what, forget it. I have to take this leap. I'm pouring so much into something that does not belong to me. And it's time for me to just make a bet on myself and invest in myself. There's, you know, and I'm so blessed to be surrounded by such a great supportive family and friends. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. What do I have to lose? It does not have to be perfect to start off. It does not have to look a certain way, because, you know, you can get into your head and tell yourself all of the stories and just hold yourself back. And even if you do have great supportive people around you that is encouraging you, when you're alone, what is the story that you're telling yourself? And so I just had to build up my own confidence and say, you know what, forget it. So I just, like, in the middle of the night, I applied for my LLC. I'm like, I really don't even know what I'm going to call it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. And then I got on social media and started making videos. And then I did a video with, she's probably here today, Tiana Sykes from Tea Talk. And we had a conversation about financial health and things like that. So it's just, I literally felt like I could not hold back anymore, that I had to do it for myself and just take a leap. And then I also look at my daughters, like, what do I want them to see? You know, what is the story I want to tell them and pass down to them? So I want them to know that you can do anything. I know, like you were saying, like, the girl power, right? We can do anything when we put our minds to it. So just go for it. I have nothing to lose.
One thing that's interesting that I have found after talking, you know, for so many years about the topic and to other people about the topic, that when you're starting out, I think there's a difference between running from something and running to something. I think initially we run from it. Like, we don't want that. Like, I don't know where I'm going, but I don't want that, right? And then as you're running and running, and as time passes, you forget. You start to think, was it really that bad? Is it really worth it? And so some of us turn around and go back. The rest of us turn around and say, actually, I want to run to I see the kind of life that I want to live. I see the kind of business I want to have. And it's just much more inspiring and to run to something, you know, and I love that. You're lucky if you could do that before you quit, before you start. That's sort of the good news if you can do that, because it's hard to come up with that while you're trying to change the car when the car is moving. But once you make that breakthrough, then you're on fire. You're just motivated. You know what you want, and that could change. But as long as you stay facing that way and don't compare everything to going back, because in reality, it probably wasn't as bad as you thought. In reality, maybe some things have changed, you know, and the boss was really the problem. It really wasn't the company. There's a lot of reasons why you left. But, you know, in order to keep moving, that momentum is that, what is that? Not just job, but dream, lifestyle, you know, castle, whatever you want to build. And it's funny you would say Oprah, because I wanted to be a journalist when I was a kid, and the only quote I had was like Brian Gumbel. And then when Oprah showed up, I was like, you mean you can make money just from being yourself? That's crazy. This is like 1985. I was like 15. It was like, I want to be wherever she is. Yeah. I'm a little off track, to be fair.
You're doing a great job right now.
I'm a little behind.
Doing a great job.
All right. So let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about community. I think you brought that up, DeAndra, a little bit. Definitely changed my perspective on not just community, but other people existing. When I went on my own, now I'm like, oh, now I see why other people were there and why I need them in my life, because I certainly didn't have that perspective before I went on my own, unfortunately. So, DeAndra, why don't you expound on that a little bit about the role of community and your business, sustainability of your business, and starting of your business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, There's something really special about all of our stories. And first, it's that we were provoked to purpose, right? Me being laid off for the fifth time, I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue to apply for jobs and continue to be laid off because the economy is crazy and all of these things? Or am I going to now fully run towards my purpose? And once I made the decision to fully seek, fall face down and seek after my purpose with God, and learn the things that made me happy, right? Ultimately, I believe that I'm a recruiter. Forget the titles, forget the director, forget the CEO. I'm a recruiter. I'm a connector of people. That's who I am. And so I wanted to find people who are great at the things that I'm not. A wise person once told me, you are the average of your top 5 friends. So if you're the person in the room, you need to find a new room. If you're not being challenged, you need to find a new room. If you're the smartest person, you need to find a new room. So I said, okay, well, never been a CEO before. I should probably get some CEOs in my network, right? I should get some other powerful Black women I wanted to find people who are me. I wanted to find multiple kids, who has a husband, who's trying to figure things out, who's been laid off. I need your solution, right? Because what you've gone through is what I need. So how I started building my community was, again, social media, being active, being honest. Hey, I'm not the best at setting up finances for my business. I'm looking for a CFO. If anybody would love to have a coffee chat, I want to meet with you. And I just began throwing myself out there, putting myself out there, pitching myself. There would be times I'd get on TikTok and say, hey, I have a pitch for an investor tomorrow. I'm going to do it right now with you, and you guys give me feedback. All right, here's my pitch. And I would just do it. Similar to what Joni was saying, it's less about the journey of perfection and more about the journey of purpose, right? I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna mess up. I'm not gonna be perfect. But guess what? I'm here and I'm going forward, and I've got my blinders on, and I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So just like I did on the basketball court, being the first one in the gym and the last one to leave, is the same way that I show up in my business. I'm the first one up in the morning before my family is up. I'm the one up, I'm the one praying, I'm the one setting the tone for the day, because before I'm a CEO, I'm a wife, right? So I'm setting the tone of my home, making sure my kids are good with their homeschool. Husband, you good? You got everything you need for your meetings? Okay, good. Now I feel confident in doing what I need to do and to being challenged every day. So that's how I build community. Community is, for me, everything. It's the pillar to tell me the truth when I'm messing up, and to give me the encouragement that I need to say, girl, you got it. You're doing good. Stop being so hard on yourself. You got this.
All right. So we have a question that popped up. How do you find a new room and get them to actually let you in? Any experience with this?
Yeah.
Anyone want to take that on? Any thoughts on that question?
You know what? I'll try to chime in here, because this is one of the most difficult things you're going to experience, is feeling like you're outside. And I need you to get comfortable in that space. Just go ahead, sit your hips in it, right? Rock with it, right? Okay, because there have been so many environments where I have been in and I have felt like the outsider. And who is your cheerleader? Because you're going to need the cheerleader in the background that you can call, because I have a BFC, which is my best friend cousin. My best friend cousin is the one who I call when I'm standing on the outside of a room and I'm about to go on to the inside of that room and I need some confidence boosting happening, right? You're going to have to, walk into those rooms and make those connections, and you'll have some rejection, right? You will. But so these women and these stories is so powerful, because what you're hearing is that on the other side of everything that we're experiencing, somebody's saying yes. Okay. So you just need one, right? You just need one. You need one yes, right? And it opens up other doors. So whereas I was the one sitting at a table within a company, writing those proposals, helping to bid on $25 million contracts. Now I'm on the side where I'm writing it, I'm steering it, I own it, right? and we are presenting to the state to show them capabilities. How do you get into that room? One step at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
One phone call at a time, 1 foot at a time. And don't think anything happens overnight. None of this is happening quickly, right?
Yeah.
But there is okay. So it was one of you guys said that God is a master strategist. I love that. Okay. Because there is a method to his madness. Okay. So when he puts you somewhere, even if you were there, I'm at a conference right now. I'll tell you, the conference was probably about 3 days. I went to one session because I was working the full time, but I made one contact. And I didn't know who the person was when he walked up to me. But at the end of the conference, I'm at a gala and his face is posted everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. All I say is this, and I'll tell you this and I'll let somebody else speak. Whenever I go, I don't know what your, spiritual background may be, but whenever I go into an environment, a new space, I pray for the right connections. Okay. I don't need frivolous connections. I need the right connections so that I can be put into the right spaces with the right people.
Yeah. And that actually ties nicely with the question on community, because I have found that that's really the key, is having an advocate and someone, as you said, someone behind you, rallying you on and actually opening those doors from behind you. How about you, Joni? What are your thoughts on community and access to these rooms?
Oh, I love everything both of these ladies were saying. I mean, it is right on point. And just to add on a little bit to that is preparation too, right? So I am a super introvert. I can turn it on when I'm in front of people, but honestly, I'd rather be in a corner with a book and just me by myself. Okay. So in order for me to feel even more confident when I go into these spaces that maybe no one looks like me, maybe it's just a new room and I don't know how I'm going to be received, I feel more confident when I am prepared. So that could be preparing an elevator pitch, thinking about who else will be there, and all of those things. What do I want to get out of this? And maybe it is just about making those connections, having a business card or postcard or something to give to people to help make those connections. But really being prepared before you go into these rooms, I think helps me feel a little bit more confident. And I have to say something about community, because I wouldn't be anywhere without my community. I have such a supportive family for sure. Don't want to leave them out. But if it wasn't for my girlfriends, I have 2 core group of girlfriends from college and then ones that I grew up with, and our group chats are everything. So when I feel like I'm not enough, or I can't do the thing, or I can't show up, or do I belong in this room? I get in that group chat, or I get on a quick FaceTime and I need a quick reminder, and they're always there. So make sure you have that strong community and prepare, have your notepad, your notebook and everything, and just write everything out that you want to say, what you want to walk away with. And there are times where I go to something and I make a bet on myself. I say, okay, Joni, you're going to go in here and you're going to make 5 connections. You're going to meet 5 new people. You're going to do all those things. So, holding yourself accountable.
I have to do the same thing. People say step out of your comfort zone. I'm like, I'm awake. Consider me out of my comfort zone. Anywhere else I'm going to come. And so that's what the last couple of conferences, that's what I did. I said, you are not going back to your room. I didn't even make a list of how many people I want to meet. I said, you are not going back to your room, no matter what, because I will sleep. I will present and sleep through the rest of the conference.
Yeah,
so, and I'm so glad that I did that, because I was just roaming the halls, just meeting people. I've had more access to people and I've been to a lot of conferences. So I'll have to remember that. To just don't go to my, that's all I ask. It's just
don't go to your room.
Like everything else, I'm just gonna leave it for God, but just don't go to your room.
I love that. I love that.
Conference. So yeah, absolutely. All right, good. Okay, so we have another question about. I would love to hear from you ladies about building a team. I've been on my own, I think, the longest in the group here, and that has been a journey. And the team, team can take on several meanings. It could be, again, those colleagues that you have that you can share with, Someone made a comment too. There's this saying that I love is that we're in the same storm, but not in the same boat. So when you are thinking about going on your own, you need to talk to people who live a lifestyle similar to you. Because if I use this sandwich analogy, if there's someone else to bring a sandwich in the house, you can have half that sandwich. But if you're the only person bringing in sandwiches, then there is no half to get, right? So if people have other income, and it doesn't necessarily just mean a spouse, but other income that's coming into the home without these moving, your hands moving, that's a different reality than when you are the only one who's bringing in income. And sometimes for parents as well, for other people, that you are helping to, support. So always be thinking about that. It's like, how can I connect to someone who is similar to what I'm doing? Because their strategies may be different than someone else who has another resource that they can rely on. So that sort of leads into this question about team, not just the people that are supporting you, that are people who are helping you on projects. How do you go about recruiting for something like that? I'm going to start with you, Monica. What are your thoughts? And do you have a team, and how did you get them?
So I hired my first employee this year, and I work with a lot of 1099s to perform the work that we execute for the government right now. I'm very particular about my circle, right? And I'm very particular about the people that I connect with and trying to build that team. And I think you should always have that high degree of selection when it comes to who you bring close to you. Now, I've had some duds too, right? So, so when I started, I had a person who was invoicing me thousands of dollars each month and wasn't contributing much of anything. So I will tell you this, those circles that you go into, use your instinct, follow your instinct. When your instinct speaks to you, don't ignore it, right? I was not planning to go to a conference in Nashville a few months ago, and something spoke to my spirit and said, you need to go. And so I went and I connected with a group of small woman-owned businesses while I was there. I started to communicate my challenges with trying to find good support, right? And somebody says, I know somebody. And within a matter of 24 hours, I had an interview set up with somebody completely on the West Coast, completely different area. And that person came in and became my first employee. Amazing experience, right? I was like, how long have we been working together again? Because it's only been a few months and it feels like we've been together a year. We're so in sync, and she has no knowledge of government consulting, the GovCon space, anything that I'm doing, but she's driven. So pay attention to the people that are around you now, right? I say stay connected, right? Stay connected to the people that are around you now, because some of the people that have been connected with me throughout my journey, all those different roles and positions, like DeAndra mentioned, those people will stay with you, they'll stick with you, and then you'll be able to bring them into the fold. So it is very challenging to kind of establish a team, to construct a team. Like everything else, I say you do it block by block, right? Piece by piece, put the pieces in place. And always I do look for people with strengths that are very different from mine, because it's just a smart thing to do.
Yeah. How about you, DeAndra? Trying to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely. When that question makes me think about this quote I heard Issa Rae say one time when she was talking about networking, but it's along the same lines. Talk about networking. She says, oftentimes we're taught to network up, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. Which is a great thing, because like DeAndra was saying, you want to have folks. I've never been a CEO before, so I need to have some CEOs in my circle. But oftentimes when you're talking about building a team and networking, think about the people that are around you, right? Who are in the trenches with you, because those are going to be the people who are going to be able to really help you out. So I think about the folks that I am currently working with in my corporate space. I know photographers, I know event planners, I know other facilitators. And so when I think about the folks that I need to help support me along the way or contribute to my business and have some of the skills that I don't have, I'm looking to the person that is right next to me, right? So I know Monica said something right along those lines, but yeah, stay connected. Trust your instincts and stay connected to the folks that are sitting right alongside of you, because they're going to have the skills that you need, and you're going to know them well enough to know their work ethic, you know, how they're going to show up, when they're going to show up, and all of those type of things.
Okay, so I know we have another question here, but it really is time for us to wrap up, because what I would like to do is to give each of you a closing statement, one that is inspirational, maybe something that can get people to get started on their journey, but make it brief. But just what is that one piece, maybe that one piece of advice that you thought you had, or just something to get people started on their journey. Can we hear you, DeAndra? No, we still can't. And why don't you type it in the chat though? So type your inspirational message in the chat, because I don't want to lose out on the gifts that you have. Thank you for that. How about you, Monica? What's your one piece of inspiration?
I think we all have something unique to offer, right? I think we all are mighty. Okay. I don't want you to allow anybody to discourage you from your dream. Hold them close. Okay. You cannot share it with everybody. It is true. It is a lonely path. It is true, but it is very rewarding on the other end. Field of dreams. I'm a movie watcher. If you build it, they will come. Okay. So you do have to put in the work on the back end to get to where you're going. And your path will be filled with people who will help build those blocks. They will help position you, and you will be in the space that you're meant to be in. Okay. So this is your choice. It is your journey. You are the director. Right? You are the director here. So you get to pick how this movie plays out.
Thank you. Beautiful. Joni?
Yes, absolutely. So I would say that you're enough. You can do it just right where you are with the resources that you have. It's really easy to say, you know, I don't have money to buy equipment. I don't have the time to do this. Find the time, find the resources with whatever you have right now, because you're enough and the world is waiting for your gift, right? So make that bet on yourself, because you absolutely can do it. We can do anything if we put our minds to it. So just go for it and make a bet on yourself, because it's possible.
Yeah. One thing I would say, can we hear you, DeAndra? Can you?
I can hear you. Can
Oh,
you?
yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. You have the floor.
I typed so much already, but it's keep going. You've survived 100% of your worst days. So what's today? Everything that you're going through is not just for you. It's to help and inspire and to provoke and encourage someone else. I realized that the hardest thing that I went through was IVF. I had a doctor come in and tell me I would never be able to bear my own children. And if I had listened to her opinion instead of really praying and seeking God and doing my research and learning about IVF and all these other things, I wouldn't have born my own 2 babies. So oftentimes, especially when I'm in this navigating this journey of being a CEO and running a business and doing all these things, I remember that if I survived that, today, what's today? Today is nothing. You got today. No matter what, you got today. And whatever God has designed for you is already there. It's waiting for you to arrive. So if those rooms shut you out, it's because that wasn't the room for you. Find your room, find your space, find your tribe. You got this.
Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, I would say, let's normalize fear. Let's normalize that you are going to be afraid. You are going to be scared. That is totally normal. And don't talk to yourself, because you've been scared before. I know, come on. You've been scared before. It's scary enough being Black in this country, on this planet. We can deal with fear. This is nothing, right? So let's normalize that. I would also say one of the things that's a little cliche, but you've talked about preparation before, but success is opportunity meeting preparation. So when the opportunities come, make sure you put yourself in a position where you're ready for them and you're ready to accept them. And not just, business wise, they have capacity wise, not just degree wise, not just because all of these things, especially when it comes to what some of us do, what I do, particularly instructional design, there's no one way of doing it. So this is my way. So if I get cut down, that's me getting cut down. Like, it's not like I didn't follow this procedure book. It is my way of doing it. So the whole idea of you are enough, being emotionally ready to tackle some of these things, I think is very important. And, you can rebuild a business, rebuilding yourself is a lot harder. So stay sealed, stay true to who you are and to your vision. And the people who are hyping you up right now to tell you that you can start your own business or you can do it, once you do it, they'll probably say you're the craziest person they've ever met in your life. Suddenly those people become doubters when you actually flip the switch and go, and you're like, wait a minute ago, you were telling me that I should go my own. Now all of a sudden, so don't rely totally on them. Stay true to your vision, stay true to what you wanted to do. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so we have about 2 minutes left. If there's any last question, otherwise, I wanted to show you something right quick. Let me go into share my screen just to give you something to walk away with. So on the screen here, maybe you could take a picture. It's all of us, of course. But I do have 2 resources out there on the topic that I've talked about before. One is this 10 video series I created called The Fog of Freelancing, that I just rambled last year in the pandemic just about freelancing and the ways it's changed me. And then the last one is this document I put together over the years called Learning Freelance, that has some resources for you in there about freelancing as far as how you're going to navigate it and all of that. Otherwise, I hope you took a screenshot and a picture of that, because I'm going to come back and stop sharing. Okay, I think we are all set. Thank you so much. Yeah, it has, absolutely. I'm going to copy these and put these in the chat just so people can have them.
It's so wonderful, you ladies, and thank you everybody who's
yes, thank you, and thank you to
so
Mallory.
Yes.
Shout out to Mallory.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is great.
The chat's still going. It's still going. I'm sticking around till the chat stops.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Me too. I'm loving this chat.
I'm all up in the text. I'm like, ooh, what's this?
Me too.
Oh my goodness.
And everyone is here for the normalizing fear. I'm like, I know that's right, honey.
Yes,
emotion. Let's deal with it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Something somebody told me before is do it scared, do it afraid. It doesn't matter. Just keep doing it.
Yeah. I tell my kids that all the time. Like, if you're nervous about something, you can't just stop being scared.
I know. And it's really sort of hard to relate to too when someone says, but I'm scared to do it. And you're like, what? That's what you're supposed to do it. Aren't we supposed to be scared? Why are you doing it if it doesn't?
Somebody asked me about a fallback plan, and I said, I've been working for people for all of my life. I can always go back and work for somebody else, right? You can always do that.
Yeah, I heard Tabitha Brown say the same thing. She says, honey, I can get a job. That's not a
problem. I know, really.
I might not keep it, but I can get one.
right. I mean,
Because
no matter
DeAndra,
why
I'm gonna tell you, you're not the only one that's been let go. I have had it happen, and when people come to me and they say they've been let go and they're so distraught and devastated, I sit there and I'm like, really? Because let that roll on off your back like water. Because it won't be the first time. It may not be the last time. It happens, right? Keep moving.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite quote about, hey, it's better to stay ready than to have to get ready.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Stay
That's what my mother says.
ready.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's right.
That's right.
Love it.